Wow, I've never seen so many stars.
I know. Once you get away from the city, the sky truly does come alive.
I wish we could see stars like this back home.
So do I. Maybe if we lived out in the countryside, you'd see nights like this. Wait a minute. Hey, did you see that?
Yeah, what are those things?
I don't know. Weird.
That, my friend, would be space debris.
What the hell? Who are you?
That's not important.
Where did you come from?
That's not important either.
Well, what is important then?
The things you don't see, which have an everlasting effect on the stuff you can see.
What are you talking about?
Let me ask you a question. Did you not come from out of town to view the night sky?
Why, yes, we did, but what does...
And when noticing the debris obscuring the stars above, did that not affect your viewing of the stars?
Yes?
It's just another example of the impact that we humans have on the stuff around us. And in most cases, the effects prove to be hurting instead of benefiting us.
I don't think I fully understand what you're trying to say.
Well then, I'll just have to show you. Come with me.
Alright, but how are we gonna get anywhere? I brought her out here on my mongoose.
No worries, we won't be needing a vehicle anyways.
Huh?
Just hang on. Welcome to Africa.
Whoa! I've always wanted to come here.
And I was gonna take you here too, but this guy had to be Mr. Show-Off.
My bad.
So, why did you bring us here?
Let me explain by asking a series of questions. The first being, what do you see?
I see a lot of grass and mountains in the distance.
What else?
Some sort of facility and giant radio dishes.
And what don't you see?
Trees?
That and...
Isn't this the safari? Lack of trees is a norm, isn't it?
This is quite true, but do you know the importance of trees to our survival?
They give off oxygen.
Correct. And most of that oxygen comes from one centralized location called the Amazon rainforest. Yet this forest, along with many others, are being torn down. If this continues, our supply of breathable oxygen will diminish, making our planet less inhabitable.
I had no idea that they were allowed to do things like that.
Unless someone stands up and fights them, they shall continue, thus removing the Amazon from existence.
I can't believe it.
Now, is there anything else besides the trees that you also see a lack of?
Animals?
Precisely.
Huh. I didn't notice that before.
To answer the question that I'm sure is on your minds, they are non-existent. At least within a 100-mile radius of this facility.
Really? Why?
Annoyance was the key word used in their petition. Apparently the animals were causing minor damages to fences and equipment around the facility. And the only way to remove such annoyances was either by death or relocation. And so most of the animals died, which led to 3 species becoming extinct. At last, the petition was signed and the remaining animals were relocated thereafter, but the damage had already been done.
Why would they do something like that?
Didn't they have any morals?
It would seem not. This is only a taste of the global devastation of wildlife, and it continues to worsen. As free land diminishes, our lust for expansion grows, and thus habitations and ecosystems are flushed out, and in most cases, extinguished. Although many believe this petty system, be it deforestation or animal relocation, will have no effect on us, they are sadly mistaken.
I had no idea this was happening.
Many don't, and some don't want to believe it. But it is happening, and although the effects may not be noticeable at first, we will surely feel the effects eventually. And they will be global. Now, let's move on. I have much more to show you two. As you can probably tell, we are currently standing on an oil rig in the Arctic, thousands of miles away from your home.
What does this have to do with being 1,000 miles away from our home?
It's just a way of putting less stress and worry on the public like yourself. Since this is so far away, most would assume its effects on your area would be non-existent. Yet this is anything but. As you can see around us, the ice glaciers are slowly crumbling below. This tells us two things. 1. Our planet is heating up, and 2. The water levels are rising because of it. Thus concluding that if the polar ice caps are to melt, many of our coastal cities will be underwater, displacing millions of people. So, just because we can't see it, doesn't mean it won't affect us.
Why then do people continue to persist that we don't have any effect at all?
That I do not know. Maybe they are too afraid to admit, or too greedy. But we do have an effect on our planet. It's undeniable, and due to the CO2 emissions from oil rigs and refineries, the rate in which our planet is heating increases. And don't think that oil refineries are the only cause of this, because they are not alone. The mongoose you drive is also a source of CO2.
But wait, isn't our planet going through a warming cycle already? If so, doesn't that mean that what we're doing isn't really affecting it at all?
There are debates about whether or not our planet should be heating or cooling, but one thing is for sure. We humans are speeding up the process in which it is heating. And if we continue to pump out as much CO2 as we currently do, in 50 years or so it will be hurting us big time.
Why hasn't there been anything done to prevent this?
Laziness, perhaps? It's not like nothing has been done. There are people out there making a difference. But it isn't enough. If more people were to aid the fight against this climate change, then the next generation of humans would not have to suffer.
And what you're trying to say.
I'm glad. More people need to know. Now, let us return. I think I've done my job here. I hope you two have a pleasant night.
Thanks. But before you go, I have a question for you.
Yes?
How can we help?
There are many ways that you and others can help slow the process and help our environment. Reduce water use, be it in the yard or in the shower. Use less of your car and use more of your bikes and feet to get places. Use a water filter instead of buying bottled water. That way you can help against large container waste. Unplug electronics when they're not being used. These are only a few ways to help fight against the change in climate. If you want to learn more, browse the web for various sites that provide ways of improving our impact on our planet, thus creating a more enjoyable quality of life for yourself and the generations after us.
Wow, I had no idea that those little things could actually help.
The things we don't see tend to not worry us, and thus we do not go out of our way to help prevent them. But no matter where you are on the planet, the deforestation, the removal of ecosystems do hurt, and it impacts everyone no matter where they are. Well, I better be off. Oh, and remember, the power is yours.
Well, what do you want to do now?
I don't know. Home?
Sure. It's getting late anyways, and we have a long drive ahead of us.
Drive? What are you talking about?
Well, we're like 40 miles out. You'd be crazy not to drive home.
Well, maybe I'm crazy. Let's walk it.
What?
Come on, let's go. It'll give us a chance to enjoy the scenery, too.
But come on. No.
No buts, mister. We're walking.
Damn it.